Good evening. I'm Paul Gilmore, the chairman of the Simsbury Water Pollution Control Authority. Welcome. This is our regular monthly meeting. It's Thursday, October 14th, 2021 at 7 p.m. We will start as usual. Well, first, we'll identify everyone present. We have our clerk, Allison Sturgeon. We have members Jay Sheehan, Jock Brignac, Dr. Michael Park, Ed Kelly, Lucian Dragulski, Tom Hickey. We have myself and our facility supervisor, Tony Piazza. I believe I have everyone here, and welcome to the public who may be listening in. So we'll start with a safety brief. It's I think fall is kind of like there's a lot of fauna around here, and fall's a time when I think there's even some like increased deer activity, and especially like if you're driving at night on the roads, be on the lookout for deer trying to cross and other animals, because I had an almost close encounter this past week when I saw a deer looking like it wanted to cross the road, and I was approaching, and so we need to be mindful that we live in a place that is diverse and with the habitat and lots of occupants, and we need to be faithful stewards and watch out for things that really can't watch out for themselves. So that's the safety brief. Next on the agenda, 885 Hot Meadow Street, sewer use fee waiver request. This is a continuation of a discussion that began at the last month's meeting, in which I was not in attendance, but I did read the minutes, and I read the materials provided. Tony, do you want to remark on that, or is that something?
Yeah, yep, I can take care of that, Paul. What happened, the board had asked for, this lady didn't have any letter from Aquarian Water, which we usually get, but she did have repair bills from the work that was done. And you could see that from the usage that she had in 2015, she used, the business used 51 CCF, 2016, 52, 2017, 63, 2018, 53. Then September or 2019, it went to 270, and 2020, it went to 693. By looking back at the water usage, it looks like there was to go along with her paperwork for the repair, her water usage had increased in September of 2019, and the repair was fixed in September of 2020. It was a leak underneath the driveway at the business, so that's why it took so long to find, I'm assuming. So she had asked for a credit based on that repair that was done. So we provided, and you can see the board had asked for what the billing requirements or what it was for history, and we had printed those out, and that's in the packet there for the billing history. So you can see from 2015 to 2018, it was minimum bill, and then 2019, 2020, the bills were a lot higher.
Right. I did note that, and I did see how the quantity between 2019 and 2021 went up basically almost tenfold, which is a lot and doesn't seem reasonably accountable for, other than really by the leak. I mean, even if it went up twofold, just because maybe is this an apartment complex? Is that what this is?
Allison, do you remember what this is?
Allison, you're muted. Do you know what this is?
It's a business.
It's a business.
Yeah.
So they're like restaurant tenants or office building or what?
It's an office building. This is an office building. I
Okay.
didn't know because of the way it looks. It looks like a house. So
Okay. All right. So
Paul, to
yeah,
help you a little, what we talked about last time was it was really, we wanted to understand the amount, what town staff would recommend the amount would be that we would consider, because it was pretty vague about the amount of water that piped through, and it wasn't clear to us some of the details. So staff was going to look into some of the details of the quantities.
mhm. And when do they measure again? Do we know like the flow that's going out now?
Aquarian Water now bills monthly. So they do take water readings monthly. So we could actually get that data if we needed it. But
I mean,
my assumption is that it's back down to the normal minimal use.
okay. So obviously they incurred thousands and thousands of dollars of repairs for diagnostics and then actual implementing the repair. So it does really seem to be that this is, an anomaly, and that they weren't actually using the sewer treatment facility system because the water just was leaking into the ground, I'm assuming. So that seems to be what the natural conclusion would be. So do you have a recommendation, Tony, as to what's an appropriate level?
It would be my recommendation to go to a minimum bill as it was in the past. Their history has been a minimum bill for the business for at least the last 5 years prior to this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I would recommend going back to a minimum bill for that for at least this past year.
All right.
So Tony, when we have the minimum bill, do you know what that quantity is that kind of translates or relates to the, I guess these are Aquarian bills. So I see quantities on here of 52. I don't see units, so I don't know what that actually means.
That's 1,000 cubic feet.
1,000 cubic. So what's our minimum bill set at? Do you know what the cubic foot is of that?
It's 76,000 gallons is one.
Okay, so these are all, so if you look at the history, they're all well below the 76.
Correct.
All of these ones that she provided, there's the highest one I see is the 54 before it looks like the problem started. Okay.
Right.
Does anyone else want to remark before we make a motion? Okay.
With the past year, should correct.
I'm sorry. Can you say it again, Luke?
What would happen with the 2 years where she paid more than she was supposed to because of the leak? She paid, I think, $960, and then it was like $2,000. Whereas normally she pays around $300 something.
So that's a good question. I mean, has she actually paid the $2,000, $2,800, or is she contesting the bill and seeking a waiver of the bill?
I don't have the, Allison, do we have the email or the letter that she sent in this packet?
Yes, we do. But if you look on the 2021 bill, it's the total balance due is 0. So she did pay that because she did not want to get any interest charges incurred. Depending on which way you guys went, she would have had to incur those interest charges. So she did pay that in full.
All right. So she's looking for a reimbursement. All right. So then I think what I would posit would be, I would be looking for someone to make a motion to the following effect, that there be a redetermination of what would be the proper bill for the years that were above the minimum billing for this property and determine the excess amount paid during that period of time, and then reimburse the property owner for the differential, so that effectively the property owner will have paid throughout this period of time the minimum required sewage treatment usage charge.
Before
it-
we go there, are we sure we reimburse, or do we just do a credit and then over time it gets debited back?
We usually reimburse.
So we are talking 2 years, correct? 20 and 21, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Okay.
It's like $3,200.
I don't think so. I think she was bill.
900 plus 2,300, it's at 3,200.
Oh, well, the $700 for the actual bill would come out of that. So it would be $2,500 basically.
So Tony, is
Right.
that like a formula that you personally are going to be arriving at, or how?
No, we would basically just take the minimum bill and subtract the 32 or whatever, the $22,000 or $2,200 minus the $365 for the minimum bill.
Okay.
So that's what we'd reimburse.
Okay.
And then the
Got
same
it.
thing with the 900.
Right. Okay.
So that's the motion we're looking for. Anyone want to make that motion? If
So
not, I'll
moved.
entertain a different motion. Did I hear a so move from the esteemed Dr. Park?
Or either one.
Mr. Gay, okay, it's been seconded. All right, any discussion? Seeing no one interested in discussing further, let's put it to a vote. All in favor, say aye and raise your hand.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. All right, so that is unanimous. The motion carries. Thank you. Let's move to waiver request for 37-39 Bushy Hill Road. Tony, do you want to remark on that?
Yeah, this is a 2-family home that's actually part of Bickford Street Properties, the old Dino Nobel situation over there. That has its own association going on.
Are you repping
this-
this game?
Yeah, I wish. It might be better than what's going on. But the property owner thinks it's unfair that because she has a 2-family home, or he has a 2-family home, that he should not be charged two services, which is our based on our sewer use billing policy, is that each single family unit in a multifamily structure is billed 1 dwelling unit per year. So that's right out of the billing policy that we have. So any multifamily home will always be billed per one EDU.
Per unit, right?
Correct, per unit,
Okay. And we've done that for a very long time.
for at least 8 years.
Okay.
No, I believe 2011 is when the policy went. 2010, 2011 was when the policy was put in place.
Okay. All right. And so this is really asking us to re-examine the policy. Have we had other complaints at all about this policy from any of owners of duplexes or
Not at all.
multifamily properties?
Not at all.
How many multifamily properties do we have in our service area that are on sewage?
I honestly don't know. I would probably guess somewhere in a couple of hundreds.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Is there anyone who thinks that the policy should be re-examined at this juncture?
Is this a fairly common practice, Tony, as far as you know, with other municipalities?
Yes. The other thing that's interesting about this one, which we found out today, is we actually bill the association, and then the association bills the homes in the area. So we don't actually bill the individual homes in this development.
Okay.
I'm sure it's a pass-through though.
Oh, yeah, I would gather that is the case.
Okay, so I mean, she has standing to raise it,
Yes.
or he, I don't remember the.
I believe it's
Okay.
Colin. I believe that's a he.
Yeah, okay. All right, so any other further remarks? All right. Does anyone want to make a motion with respect to this waiver request?
Do we need a motion if it's just standard policy?
I would say, yes, you need a motion to deny this request for anything because it isn't, or deny the request for an adjustment based on, it is the standard sewer use billing policy.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Anyone want to discuss? Seeing no discussion, let's put it to a vote. All in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand and speaking.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries unanimously. Item number 4, capital account increase, Hot Meadow Street, Woodland Street Sewer Upgrade Project. Tony.
The capital project, the original budgeted amount for the capital project was $1.2 million, which was our original engineer's estimate from a year and a half ago. The bid actually came in a little higher, and plus we also added in the bid alternate for the work that's inside the Dino Nobel property. So the total bid came up at just over $1.5 million. So I'm requesting that we add an additional fund of $366,500. Transfer that from the sewer assessment fund to cover the cost of the remaining part of this project.
But eventually the whole project is reimbursed by Dino Nobel, right?
Correct. And I checked with the finance department right now. After they finished doing their accruals for this year, the sewer assessment fund is going to be somewhere around just over $2 million.
Okay.
And then minus this project, so.
Is Dino Nobel aware of the increased costs?
Yes, they are. We have waiting for them to sign the paperwork to agree to all the costs, but everything was agreed to in principle, everything was agreed prior to them getting it. It's just the lawyers are going over the paperwork.
Okay, did they give us any progress payments, or they just give us the lump sum when the project is complete?
It's going to be assessed just like over 10 years, just like every other sewer extension project.
Okay, so the money comes out of our fund and then it gets reimbursed back to us. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Is that just a report? Or are you looking for any kind of action?
No, we need a motion to transfer the money from the sewer assessment fund to our capital account for this project. And then once you guys approve it, it'll go to the Board of Finance for their blessing.
I'll make a motion to move the
Real
money.
quick,
from
I just have a
account.
question. So that money that we're transferring, is it safe to assume that when we get reimbursed, that same amount will go back into the account?
Correct.
Okay.
Plus interest.
Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
No problem. Motion to move the money.
Second.
Is that sufficiently articulated, Allison, do you think? A motion to move the money?
For that to put the amount in and all that.
Transfer from one account to the other, and then have it be reimbursed upon eventual reimbursement.
And Jay, that's the 366,500.
360,500.
And that's so moved?
It is.
Okay. And is that being seconded?
Second.
All right. Any discussion to be held? Seeing no discussion ensuing, let's put her to a vote. All in favor? Raise your hand and speak audibly.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Next would be item 5 on the agenda, status report on sewer extension projects.
The two updates that we have, they just did the video inspection for Griswold Place, which is in Powder Forest, part of the Carson Way development. Just waiting for that and the air test report, and then that project, the mainline sewer will be completed and installed, and then they'll be able to hook up homes. The ridge at Talcott Mountain, they just finished putting in the foundation for the final 4 apartment buildings in there, so they'll be looking to hook those up shortly. The Woodland Street project is going well. Tomorrow we'll be finished with the south end of that portion. We're actually switching over to Hot Meadow Street on Sunday night to do the work in the road on Hot Meadow Street. And then they'll be working up Hot Meadow Street and doing our directional drilling underneath our boring underneath the sycamore tree to make sure that stays intact. And then we'll be switching to the north end of Woodland Street, but everything's going well. Haven't had any complaints from any of the, any real complaints from the homeowners. A couple of concerns from the bus company, but we kept them satisfied, and everything's going well with that one.
All right, very good. Does anyone have any remarks or questions about that report? Seeing none, I thank you, Tony, and let's move to the treatment facility report.
I'll start down lower. Granite Inliner is going to be coming back in November to finish a little bit of work they have to do for this year, and then we'll reevaluate some stuff. There's still a little bit more in Fairfield that has to get done. Our secondary launder covers. The contractor had some issues with some ratings of the covers, which we took care of. It delayed the project a little bit, but they're going to be installing the covers probably starting in the middle of December, and then working through the wintertime. Plant wise, if you guys remember, we had all that good rain back in the beginning of September. We ended up having in September 1st, September 2nd timeframe, we had just over 6 inches of rain on those 2 days. Our plant flow actually peaked out at 8.8 million gallons. It caused a little bit of upset with the plant, where we did lose some solids from the secondary clarifier just because of that massive amount of flow coming through the plant. Actually didn't violate anything besides the look. Everything was good on the next day for our samples. We did file a report just because we thought we were going to violate something. So we did file a report with the state saying, hey, we're losing solids from our secondaries, but again, all the testing came back fine the next day. I did a quick evaluation of the flows from our different flow meters. The plant actually went back to normal flows by September 5th, 6th timeframe. Our Simsbury Commons meter actually went back to normal by the 3rd, which is good. Nod Brook went back to normal by the 4th. And the fun ones are Avon and Granby. Avon or Granby's flow actually tripled coming into the town. Their flow actually went back to normal by about September 6th. Avon's flow also tripled. And Avon's flow also tripled, but their flow did not drop back down until the 11th of September. So they actually have a huge I&I problem going on in Avon. And I did tell them about the flows, and I know they're looking to do some I&I work, but the work that we're doing is doing us a lot of good by reducing the flows. So we will make more money in the near future based on those numbers.
Does anyone have any remarks on that report?
Just kudos to the plant staff for, handling a pretty epic weather event and many of them. And, this was a very abnormal time of year, and kudos to you and your team, Tony, for not having an overflow.
Yeah, I actually have a good video of Bristol where the influent channel was overflowing, going to their primary clarifiers.
Made you glad to leave Bristol.
Yes. I would have made it come out someplace else.
Right. Yeah. So absolutely. Job well done under trying circumstances. All right. Thank you for that report, Tony. Next, we have correspondence, items of correspondence, to the extent that we have not heretofore reviewed them with other items on the agenda.
There's just one letter we sent out regarding an adjustment that was granted last month in the WPCA meeting for 1243 Hot Meadow Street with the $60,000. So we credited them that for the amount of the 60,000 gallons, $362.15. Sorry.
Okay. Sounds good. Anyone have any questions about that item of correspondence? Seeing none, I thank you, Tony. Let's move on to the September meeting minutes and the possible approval thereof. Those who are in attendance in September and who are present here this evening, have you already had a chance to review the meeting minutes, or would you like a couple of minutes now to do so?
I reviewed the minutes and I'm comfortable making a motion to approve them as assembled.
I'll second.
All right. Anyone want to discuss? All right. Seeing nobody wanting to discuss and everyone wanting to affirm the esteemed job that Allison did putting the minutes together, let's put it to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I will abstain as I was not in attendance.
I will too.
So, but the motion does carry. That leads us with item number 9, which is everyone's favorite item, the adjournment.
I would like to make a motion to adjourn.
I will second
Anyone?
that motion.
Second, does anybody want to discuss? Remarkably, no. All right. I want to thank each and every one of you for your participation